On this earth, there is a place where darkness is just as vibrant as daylight, where ancient peaks cloaked in blue haze stand as a fortress in the heart of the Appalachia, holding memories of a time before time. By day, millions flock to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, drawn to its breathtaking vistas, but when the sun dips below the ridgeline and shadows stretch like long fingers across the valleys, a transformation takes hold. This is when the park truly awakens. Trails, once bustling with hikers, become the domain of creatures that light up the forest floor. Towns once booming with life have been drowned and left to fill the lakes. Join us as we venture off the beaten path, beyond the overlooks and gift shops. We'll trace the footsteps of those who sought refuge in these mountains, discover pockets of life untouched for millennia, and confront mysteries that even science can't fully explain. I'm Ash, and I'm the daughter.
I'm Liz, and I'm the mom.
And this is The Lesser Known. So, the question of the day is, if you could have any fictional character as a roommate, who would you choose and why?
So this is a tough one for me because I would not have a roommate. Like, I would do whatever I have to do to live alone, or obviously, when you're married, it is a roommate, but it's different. I don't know. But I would want someone who is clean, quiet, keeps to themselves, like to where it's like I have a roommate, but I basically don't have a roommate. If we're going clean, I thought about like Niles Crane. Did you ever watch Frasier?
Mm-hmm.
But he's a little bit like picky. So I feel like if I left anything out, he'd be like, oh, ew, ew, ew. You know what I mean? Like he'd be a little too picky for me. So I was thinking Dexter. He's kind of perfect for me.
Oh.
You know Dexter, the serial killer.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'm just surprised.
So he's not, I feel like he wouldn't be around a lot. He wouldn't be bugging me. He'd be like off doing his own Dextery murder stuff. And I would have protection because like, if someone messed with me and I don't know. And I just feel like he like wouldn't care that much about what I'm doing because he's like there but not there. So I'm gonna go Dexter.
I guess I could see that. I just think I
Also,
would be afraid because if you do anything bad, he's going to kill you.
right, but you have to be really bad for him to kill you. Like you have to be your own serial killer or something, like so. And I feel like I'm a pretty good citizen, so I think I'm safe. And they came out with a new Dexter. Did you see that? It's called Origin something. It's good.
I saw, but I didn't see it. Like I didn't watch it.
I watched the whole first season. It's really, really good.
Oh, okay. Does it have anything to do with the last?
Well, it does. It's his origin story. It's like how he became. Yes. And so they have the characters, but they're all younger and they look just like them. It's so cool. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Joe really want to start watching it, so.
You should. It's on Paramount. If you have Paramount.
We did. Should be in the family plan, right?
It might be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
you could see it that way. So who's your fictional character?
I was thinking someone from Friends because I grew up watching that.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was thinking either Rachel or Monica.
Monica, you'd have to keep your house clean though.
Yeah, but I feel like we're a lot alike in like our organization. But that like we might butt heads because of that. So I was thinking more of Rachel.
Yeah, she's more chill. Like she'd be more of a fun roommate. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought about Phoebe, but she's kind of ditzy and she burned her apartment down with a flat iron. Remember that?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not Phoebe, but she would probably be the funnest one, and then Rachel, and then Monica. Because it's like we love Monica, but like she is like a lot. Good one. So wait, which one did you pick? Rachel or Monica?
I think Rachel.
Nice.
Which is weird.
And you have a best friend's name? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that kind of works out.
Yeah. So our national parks in the news is the remains of a missing hiker were found at Mesa Verde National Park. A little more than a year ago, a man from Indiana failed to return from a hike on the Petroglyph Point Trail at Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado. And his remains were found an entire year later, basically.
It's kind of good though,
Yeah.
because we have all these missing people. It's like when they actually find someone, it feels like closure.
So if you didn't gather it from the intro, today we're talking about Smoky Mountain National Park, which is also referred to as the Great Smokies, not to be confused with Rocky Mountain National Park, because that's a different one.
So that
I
was a little bit of my
I thought
okay.
you were gonna do that, and I meant to tell you, but I forgot because I almost did that a couple times. The mountain range is located in the Appalachian Mountains, so it's part of the trail, and it's in both North Carolina and Tennessee. The state boundary line bisects the park right down the middle, measuring 54 miles long and 19 miles across at its widest point. The park consists of slightly more than 500,000 acres of land and attracts the largest number of visitors annually of any national park, reaching close to 13 million visitors.
That's so
Don't get too
many.
excited because I don't I don't really think that that is the true number, and I'll tell you why. Many people say this could largely be due to the main road that runs through the park called Newfound Gap, and in the summertime there can be over 60,000 visitors in a weekend. So, building this park's iconic scenic highway was actually a daunting task that took about 12 years to complete. To carve through the rugged mountains, crews relied heavily on dynamite and used over 200 tons of explosives in the process. Because this highway is a pass through, the park doesn't close or require an entrance fee, so there hasn't been a way to accurately track the number of visitors actually going into the park. It's more of like a guesstimate. And this is also probably why the most common cause of death in the park is car accidents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah,
Because they're not
so
actually in the park. I mean, they're in the park, but not trying to be in the park,
yeah,
maybe.
they have like kind of started tracking because they have parking now where you have to pay for parking so they can track it that way. But before you didn't have to pay for parking because it's a pass through,
Hmm.
like the road just goes all the way through, and you don't have to pay an entrance fee because of that. So it's like, and the park never closes. Most parks do close, so it kind of cuts off the people who want to come through at
Is
night, you
there
know?
is there a boundary to this park? You know how like a lot of parks you pay to get in and you pay to park and do all these things because there's semi boundary. Is there like no? I mean, I don't really know. I haven't really. Do you know what I'm
I don't
talking
know
about
what
though,
you
right?
mean. No.
Like say if you go to Yellowstone, you have to get like a pass to go in, and you don't have to do that here. Is
Yeah,
it
that's what
because
I'm
there's
saying. There's
no
no entrance
bound?
fee.
Yeah.
And that would be the entrance fee is the park pass. And they
Oh.
don't require it because you have to go through that highway to get
Hmm.
to where you're going. Like it's a main highway. So it's estimated that about 10 people die every year at the park. And the park also averages 103 search and rescue missions annually. And between those numbers, 4 to 5 of those are unsuccessful, meaning they couldn't find the person. That's not too much. Like out of 100,
Mm-mm.
it's like 4%. Before John Rockefeller and President Franklin Roosevelt worked to establish the national park, the Smoky Mountains were once called the Great Iron Mountains. This name is ironic, though, because there was very little iron ever found there.
I don't like the name anyway. I like Smoky better.
Yeah. And the Smoky Mountains were eventually named for the mist or the blue haze that surrounds the mountains, resulting from the interaction between the moist environment of streams and waterfalls and the thick vegetation. The Cherokee considered the mountains sacred and called the area Shakonaki. So that translates to place of blue smoke.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
The Smokies weren't always so smoky, though. In the mid 20th century, air pollution was so bad that it obscured views. And what's remarkable is how quickly the Clean Air Act of 1970 worked. Within a few years, the sky cleared dramatically, demonstrating the impact of environmental regulations. Even though there are processes in place today to keep the smokiness to a minimum, the park's unique vegetation and weather patterns still create a smoky mirage called chimneys in the smog, which look like a natural air show even on clear days. This happens for a few reasons. One is because the vegetation releases carbon dioxide as well as volatile organic compounds, which in high concentrations create fog. The vapor molecules released by the vegetation also scatter blue light from the sky, causing the phenomenon known as blue smoke. The second is because warm air rises from the valleys and forms vertical columns of mist that resemble smoke rising from chimneys, even when there's no fire.
That's cool. Have you
I thought
been?
so too. No. I want to go.
It seems like a good one.
Yeah. But it's probably going to be super busy. So,
I mean,
don't
with
know.
12 million visitors a year, seems
Teen.
pretty busy. 13 million.
Vegetation doesn't just affect the smoky illusion of the park, it also lights up the park at night. Throughout the park along the Appalachian Trail, you'll find bioluminescent fungi. Foxfire is one of the oldest bioluminescent curiosities, described by Aristotle as a cold fire. It's an eerie emerald light that can be seen in patches on the forest floor radiating from rotten wood or attached to the bases of trees. Foxfire has been called false fire. It's not clear why they glow, but some scientists believe it's to attract prey. Others think that it releases luciferin, which is a chemical that creates the glow in mushrooms, and that's guided by circadian rhythm throughout the year.
What does that mean? They're trying to get prey. Did you say it was a fungus?
Yeah. I don't
So
know, maybe
how,
they eat
what does
bugs.
that mean? Or it's like, have you ever seen that where, kind of like Walking Dead type thing, where something eats fungus and the fungus takes over the body? I wonder if that's what it is. It's trying to get like the whatever to eat it so it can take over.
Yeah, it's kind of like that show. Have you seen
Yeah,
that? I forgot what it's called.
yes.
It's not Among Us,
The
but it's
Last of
something The
Us.
Last of Us.
The
Yeah.
Last of Us. It was good. Did you watch it?
Yeah. They're coming
Oh,
out
that
with
was
a new
good.
season soon.
Really?
Hopefully.
I
Yeah,
can't
they
remember
should
how it
be.
ended.
I know, me
It's
neither.
it's been
I
a
think
while. That was so good though.
me and Jeremy are waiting on a few movies. We're waiting on From, The Last of Us, Wednesday, um, or a few shows. And then there's
Hmm.
another one that we're waiting on. But it could be that because I know there's been like tarantulas that have eaten like fungus or something, and then they get that thing where they like are like a statue.
Yeah, I saw something like that. I feel like I saw a picture on like Instagram or something. I was like, oof.
Yeah, you're probably right. I didn't even think of that. It's probably what it
Yeah.
is. Even though the park was established as a national park in June of 1934, the mountain ranges have been there long before. The Smoky Mountains are estimated to be between 200 and 300 million years old, making them one of the oldest mountain ranges on Earth. They are also home to more native trees than all of Europe. Does that
Wow.
make sense? Because when I said that, Jeremy's like, what does that mean? So I want to
Um,
make sure it makes sense.
I mean, native trees sounds like trees local to the area.
Yeah,
Is that?
yeah, trees specific to Smoky Mountains. So there's more of
Hmm.
those than all of Europe.
Yeah.
Before it became a national park, it was known for its moonshining production, especially during Prohibition. To really understand the moonshining industry in the Smokies, we have to go back before Prohibition and even before the Civil War. Distilling whiskey was a tradition brought over by Scots Irish settlers in the 1700s. These folks were fiercely independent and didn't take kindly to government interference. When the government tried to tax whiskey in the late 1700s, it sparked the Whiskey Rebellion. While the rebellion was squashed, the attitude never went away, especially in the mountains where folks relied on distilling as part of their survival. The mountains were perfect for distilling because there was plenty of fresh water, hidden valleys, and a natural buffer against revenue agents, or as locals called them, revenuers. And these were like law enforcement people.
That makes sense because I know moonshine. I always, whenever I think of moonshine, I think of like an old guy in the mountains with like a big beard and long hair and like a stick, just with his mason jar full of alcohol, like super strong alcohol. That's like what I picture.
Actually, it's funny that you say that because one of the guys looks exactly like that. His name's Popcorn Sutton.
God.
Yeah, so you'll have to look him up later because that's like the picture you just explained, that's him.
Yeah, it's exactly what I picture. So with a name like Popcorn Sutton, it's got to be good.
Mhm. Some moonshiners, to include Popcorn Sutton, had lookouts, traps, and even secret codes to warn each other if revenuers were coming. The battle between moonshiners and government agents became legendary. By the time Prohibition rolled around in the 1920s, the Smokies were one of the most notorious areas for illegal whiskey production. One of the most famous moonshiners was Lewis Redmond. He was also referred to as the Appalachian Robin Hood, and he actually shot and killed a revenue agent, then went on the run for years. Eventually, he was captured, but ended up getting pardoned by the government because they could use his distillery skills.
Hmm.
So
To
he
make
got
what?
captured, and then they were
Yeah.
like, actually, we need you now because it's
Right.
legal. So you can distill for us. So, like, once it became legal,
Oh,
they
okay.
released him.
Yeah.
And some of the same people that they hunted down ended up helping make legal whiskey later on. So, like, even other people, not just him.
Hmm. They're probably like, oh, thank God.
I know, right? Another famous moonshiner was Al Capone. And this guy seems to be everywhere.
He he's been at so many of our parks, I swear.
I know. I feel like I talk about him in almost every park on the East Coast.
Hmm.
Capone's bootlegging empire stretched across the country, and the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina were the key supply routes. There were also rumors that his men would transport moonshine from hidden stills in the Smokies to speakeasies in major cities. There are even stories that Capone himself visited the area, staying at Grove Park Inn in Asheville, North Carolina, which is a hotel that's also known to be haunted.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Send
So
it. Can you
keep
send it to
that.
me?
Yeah.
Hmm. We haven't done my episode yet, so you have to send me that.
Yeah. And finally, the most notorious moonshiner was Marvin Popcorn Sutton. In the 1960s and 1970s, Sutton was given the nickname Popcorn after he got frustrated with the bar's faulty popcorn machine and beat it with a pool cue. He gained popularity when he appeared in Neil Hutchinson's Emmy Award-winning documentary The Last One, where he claimed to produce the last run of liquor he would ever make. Not only was he a great moonshiner, but he was an excellent marketer. He used the fame from the documentary and drove his Ford truck around town, and when the truck pulled up, everyone would rush up desperately to buy a jug of his last run moonshine. Eventually, he was arrested and then later committed suicide.
Oh,
I know.
why would he have? That's like a harsh story. It
I
sounded like
know.
he became like a local celebrity, and it was just too much, right?
Well, I think it was that, and then he also got arrested, so he's like, I think he committed suicide in jail because he didn't want to be there, you know? Yeah. But I do have some other interesting facts about moonshining. So, the basic ingredients for moonshine are cornmeal, sugar, water, and yeast. And during Prohibition, moonshine was nicknamed Mountain Dew, and this slang term later became the name of the lemon lime flavored soda, which served as a chaser for moonshine.
No way.
Hmm.
That's so
And that makes sense
cool.
too,
Yeah.
because it's like the dew from the mountains, you know, the
Yeah.
mountain dew. Yeah,
Wow. I mean, I have to process that. It's gonna take me a minute. Go ahead. You can keep going, but like,
yeah, I know.
that's so cool.
And well, this will shock you too. Bootleggers modified their cars to carry moonshine and outrun revenue agents, which was also the inspiration for NASCAR. The curvy mountain roads were a training ground for NASCAR drivers like Junior Johnson. Isn't that crazy? Because they would modify their cars to be like really quick. That way they could
So
zip through the
the race
mountains.
car drivers took inspiration from that?
Hmm. But it was also the inspiration for like NASCAR in general. Like the way that the
Oh,
cars were
the curvy
modified. Yeah.
Oh,
And like how
that's
fast they were
awesome.
going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bootlegging is
I,
such a huge part of our American history. Have you noticed that? Like how much it comes up
yeah.
and all
I
like
know.
in the speakeasies and stuff, and now that's like your favorite.
I know. I love speakeasies. And I didn't really know a lot of this stuff until,
Oh, I
you
didn't
know, we
realize
started
I
talking
didn't know
about.
that that's where speakeasy came from, like where
You
how
didn't?
like a hidden bar. I didn't realize that it came
Well,
from like went during prohibition. Is that the way you're
yeah,
taking
I
it
thought
too?
you.
Like I had
No,
no
it is.
idea.
It's definitely from like from that. I thought you knew that because it's
Mm-mm.
actually they used to have it would look like a regular door, but they would have like a red light or a green light. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Like a different colored light that would indicate like this is a bar. But like
Mm.
government agents didn't know. It was just kind of like talk, and then you would go in, and it would be like illegal stuff. But that's why speakeasies are so cool with like the codes
Mm-hmm.
and getting in and yeah, that's why I
I
fell in love with them
literally just realized it within the past minute.
today.
Today. I was today
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah. That's funny. I thought you knew because that's why I like them so much. I think they're just really cool. It's part of history and it's also
It
like a
just
fun experience
yeah.
to get into one. Yeah.
It's just one of those things like you have lived with it forever, but you don't really know the origin of the word. And then once it clicks in your mind, it's like, oh my God, that's where it came from. It's just
Yeah.
like there's been like a lot of things like that for me. What you and stop signs or something, right?
What?
What? Your optional stop sign stopping.
Oh, yeah. When someone told me that a stop sign was optional if it had the
Oh,
red or the
I
white
and
around it.
one yeah. And one for me is you know how there's the wind chill temperature?
Hmm.
I used to think it was the windshield temperature, so, like, whatever the
Oh,
temperature your
yeah.
windshield was. Just,
I
like,
thought
stuff
that
like that, when
too.
you actually realize the actual words, it's like, "Oh, that makes a lot more sense."
Yeah. Yeah, I think speakeasies are really cool because they require like a password, which is kind of like here where they were talking about secret codes and stuff like that.
Mhm,
Or you have to like remember the one we went to in Florida and you had to type in the code and get in
mhm,
and it was just in a liquor shop and you wouldn't know.
mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I have, like, a much greater appreciation for them now.
Hmm.
Thanks, Ash.
Moonshine can be dangerous if it's made incorrectly or in old lead pipes, which makes sense because you could get lead poisoning. The term moonshine comes from making and distributing liquor at night under the cover of darkness and under the moonlight. Moonshine.
Here we go, I just learned, like, another
I
great
know.
fact.
I know. I didn't realize that one until I started like I was like, "Oh, well that actually makes sense because you couldn't do it in the daytime because there were revenue agents everywhere, so you'd have to." Yeah, and here's a super crazy fact. America's first legal moonshine distillery was launched in 2005.
What?
Isn't that crazy?
2005?
I
That's,
was
like,
like, that's so
yesterday, basically.
recent. Yeah, I mean, it was like 20 years ago, but it's still so recent and like I thought it was legal after Prohibition,
Yeah, me
but it
too.
wasn't
Yeah.
legal until 2005. Crazy.
Wow. So when my
Mhm.
cousin was bringing it to our parties back in the early 2000s, it wasn't even legal?
It's not real,
What's not real?
the moonshine.
What do you
There's
mean?
like fake moonshine where they don't make it. Like it's not
Oh.
like the gas station ones that say moonshine, it's not real moonshine. But I'm saying like the first legal distillery where they actually made moonshine was in 2005.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the other stuff is probably just fake.
Hmm. That's
Because your cousin was
disappointing.
also a cop, so I feel like he wouldn't.
How'd you know who I was talking about?
I don't know. I just did.
That's very strange. I have 30 cousins, and literally the one I was talking about, you just said, "Oh, but he was a cop, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like,
That's weird. Maybe I was
how did
thinking
it happen?
because I was thinking, and this has like nothing to do with it, but I guess I kind of put it together in my head. I was thinking that it was him because he would always bring fireworks back that he would confiscate when people would go over the border. Because, in Indiana, it's legal, but in Illinois, it's not. So people would go buy fireworks in Indiana and then transport them to Illinois, but he would confiscate them if you pulled them over and found them. And then he
And then
would
we
bring
had
them
the
back.
best firework show in town.
Yeah,
I don't know if
exactly.
we're spilling the beans on my cousin's illegal fireworks
Well, they
activity.
don't know who it is, so
Right, I won't give names,
yeah. But that is
but you know
crazy. I guess
but you
I
know who
kind of
you are.
just put it, yeah. I kind of just put that.
That's so funny. It's exactly who you're thinking it is. That's so funny.
That is funny. Today, the park is scattered with evidence of the production of moonshine. In fact, out of the 800 miles of hiking trails that the park has to offer, you can find at least 8 discovered moonshine tunnels throughout, and possibly hidden ones in more remote places. One specific hiking trail where you can find these tunnels is Porter's Creek Trail, and it was actually the first one that was discovered in the park in 2019. So they just discovered this.
It was, like, 5 days ago. I'm just
How is well, hold on. I'm trying to put it together cuz I said 2005, you're like that was like yesterday. But then I
Yeah,
said
I know.
2019, you're like that was 5 days ago. That doesn't the
I
math
know.
isn't mathing.
I'm just saying, like, relative
I
to
know what you're
history is
saying.
basically
I know what you're saying, but like, how does 2005, which was 20 years ago, equal yesterday? But then 2019, which was 6 years ago, equals 5 days ago.
I don't know, it's all relative.
Anyway, The tunnel was found by Bill and Rhonda Pierce while hiking the Porters Creek Trail. The Pierce family reported the discovery to a park ranger who then told the University of Tennessee, who then mapped out 8 tunnels within the park. These tunnels are about 8 feet by 8 feet and are safe for visitors. And archaeologists who have studied it found that the walls of the tunnels are affixed with tin mounts to hold lanterns, and some sections are painted with what seems to be coded messages. Local lore suggests that bootleggers had a secret language of symbols and phrases that they used to share tips and warnings with one another in the tunnels. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And to this day, many restaurants in Tennessee still produce and sell their iconic in-house moonshine.
So is that real?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what the fake stuff is, but it's probably like, you know how gas stations can't sell liquor, so they sell like the
Oh.
wine Fireball
Mm-hmm.
that's made from wine. I think it's probably like that, the fake stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
the real stuff you can actually go to a distillery. And it's probably like that because it can be dangerous. You know what I mean? So they have to have like certain regulations if you're going to sell and distill moonshine.
Yeah. One cool thing about that, having their own like language in the caves, it's like you'd have to learn to speak moonshine, like almost like
Mhm.
speak another language. I like
Yeah.
that.
So the southern boundary of the park is marked by Fontana Lake, and the area along its north shore is called Hazel Creek, which is one of the more remote and isolated parts of the park. It's accessible only by boat or a long hike, and this region is also one of the largest stretches of roadless land in the eastern U.S. Underneath Fontana Lake lies the lost town of Proctor, North Carolina, which was once a booming lumber town on Hazel Creek. Proctor, along with other communities of Hazel Creek, were flooded. Because the dam was created in the wake of the Pearl Harbor attack in an effort to power a nearby aluminum plant. The lake formed by the dam displaced local residents from their homes, and most of the town was submerged by rising water. The floodwaters also washed out Highway 288, the only major road leading in or out of Hazel Creek. When Fontana Lake is at an extremely low level, you can actually see some of the taller structures of the town.
That's so cool.
I wonder if there's like a story or like ghost stuff in there.
I hope so. I'm gonna look that up for sure. Because I would be
Probably.
like, I would love that if you're walking and like there's that lake, and then
Mhm.
just knowing that under there is a town. That's like,
Kind of creepy.
I love that stuff though. It's my favorite.
Yeah. To this day, the dam still remains standing, and the park takes the title of being home to the tallest dam in the eastern U.S. The dam stands at 480 feet tall and 2,260 feet long. The park has also been named the unofficial salamander capital of the world, and there are 30 different species of salamander in the Smoky Mountains, and of those 30, 24 are lungless, meaning that they breathe through their skin, mouth, or throat. Yeah, kind of like a worm. Like worms breathe through their
Oh,
skin.
oh, they breathe through their skin?
You didn't know that?
No, worms I did.
Oh,
Because I
okay,
know if
yeah.
you put a worm in water, it will drown. Like people are always like, "Oh, that worm is out of
I
the
know.
water. I'm gonna
I
put it
know.
back in the water," but they actually drown because they can't breathe.
Yeah,
Sad.
yeah. And then one of these species of salamander is known as the hellbender. And the hellbender is the largest salamander in North America and the third largest in the world. They grow to over 2 feet long and weigh over 4 pounds and live to be 30 years old.
That's huge. That's like
I know.
a baby gator. Are
Yeah.
they nice? I mean, why are they called hellbender?
I mean, I don't think wild creatures are
Maybe it's
normally nice, though.
yeah, right. Salamanders. And I didn't. Okay, so do you know that gecko we have outside?
Mm-hmm.
I felt so he. So I assumed geckos were herbivores. That's where you eat plants,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was another littler gecko that
We
ran
ate
that
them.
that ran towards it, and I was like, oh, that must be his baby. And we saw, the big gecko was sitting there. The little one started running towards it. I'm like, oh, he's going towards his mom. And then he goes crunch, 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 and he got him. And I was like, I felt so bad. I felt so bad. It was like the worst. Now I'm holding a grudge towards that gecko outside.
I didn't know they ate other
Neither did I.
lizards. I thought they just ate like flies and stuff.
Mm-mm. And yeah,
Oh,
so
so sad.
now every time I look at him, I give him a dirty look, but obviously I would still never like hurt him or anything, but I'm still angry with him.
Yeah. That's really
It
sad.
was a bad night. Anyway,
So,
salamanders.
yeah. So back to the salamanders. The salamanders actually have a really mysterious migrating process. So every fall, thousands and thousands of tiny salamanders make a journey to the breeding ponds in the Smokies, like where they were born. But what's strange is scientists still don't fully understand how these amphibians who don't see well navigate back to the exact pond where they were born.
It's a mystery, and we're like
Yeah.
highly intelligent creatures, but yet somehow like salamanders, fish, and all these can like do things. Bats can do all these things that we would have no idea. Like I couldn't find my way
I
back to
think
like Indiana, right?
I
By
think part
walking.
of that is like because we're like highly intelligent creatures, we have lost touch with like our instincts. You know what I mean?
I think so
Because we're
too.
taught something else and not to follow our instincts.
Hmm.
I don't know how to explain
Yeah,
it.
I agree with that. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
We lose touch with our feelings. We don't listen to ourselves. Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Like we were meant to like hunt and gather, and we really don't do hunting and gathering anymore. So we've become obese. You know, just that kind of stuff. Like, and we've lost touch of hunting and gathering because it's not like, you know how when animals have to adapt, like evolution basically. Well, here's a good example. So it's either our pancreas or our gallbladder, one of those two, was meant to like help process raw meat and bones, but now we can live without them because we don't need to do that anymore.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, like we lost touch with like our
Hmm.
we're like evolutionizing to be not in tune with our
With our bodies.
natural instincts.
And even things like intuition. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like we get it, but we ignore it because we're like, oh no, that's dumb. No, I must have just thought that because of something else. But I think I agree. Like, you should be listening to that more, like your gut feelings and stuff.
Yeah. The salamanders are not the only mysterious living things in the park. The park is also host to synchronized fireflies.
Hmm.
And these fireflies are one of at least 19 species of fireflies that live in the Great Smokies. And they are only one of a couple species in North America whose individuals are known to synchronize their flashes in unison. So, the exact reason as to why they do this isn't fully understood, but scientists believe it's like related to mating. Scientists that studied the fireflies have determined that males flash in unison as a way for the female to be certain that she's responding to one of her kind. There are other firefly species that flash at night, and some of them are predatory, so she must be able to recognize the male of her species. And the flash pattern of these is a series of 5 to 8 flashes, followed by a long pause of 8 seconds, and then this pattern is repeated. And initially, it appears to be random, but then, like once darkness sets and more males join, the flashing begins to synchronize with the whole group, and entire sections of the forest will be pulsating with light at the same time.
That's really cool. Did you look up any
Yeah.
videos of this?
No, I saw pictures though, but I hate this part. So you have to buy tickets, and it's a lottery system to go see this part of the
Mm-hmm.
park. I hate when they do that. Like I
Mm-hmm.
get it because they want to control, like you can't catch these fireflies obviously, and they want to control like the environment for the fireflies, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lottery system, it's really hard to get, and it's
Mm-hmm.
frustrating because you have to enter it and pay for it, and then you may or may not get it. So then you have to like enter again next year, and then you may or may not get it. So it's just
You have
like
to,
a
so
frustrating
you have to
process.
pay even if you don't get it.
Yeah, and they don't refund you if you don't get it.
Mm. And at least they use it for the parks, I guess,
I hope
like to
so.
support the park.
I hope that's what it goes
I
towards, and
trust the
not just
National
like
Parks
the.
Service. I think
Well,
they're
I trust
cool. They're
them,
funny. They're nice.
but I
Yeah,
don't
that's who
think you
gets
buy
it.
tickets through them. I don't know if
You
that.
sure?
I don't know. Yeah, because Havasupai Falls, which is here, is also a lottery permit, but you don't buy it through there. You buy it through like recreation.gov, or like the reservation if they have a
But
website.
that's not a national park.
No, but it's like it's like a like before it becomes a national park, it's one of those like a national
Like
monument
protected
or
or
a
something.
national
Mm-hmm.
something. Yeah, it's like it's still protected. I don't know, maybe it does go through the park because it is a .gov.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, it'd be okay if it goes back to the park. But
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure that's what happens. There's not just like a guy on on the other side of his computer just collecting.
Well, I don't think it's just a guy, but like there can be an organization that just collects it and doesn't give it back to the national park. I'm sure it does. I'm just like I just hope that it does.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I was. So the last thing I have is a plane wreck at Water Rock Knob. This nearly 40-year-old plane wreckage is located near Great Smoky Mountains of western North Carolina. It's a moderately difficult 2-mile round trip hike from Water Rock Knob Visitor Center in North Carolina. The trail begins at the Visitor Center and continues for a quarter mile up a well-marked paved path to an observation point of the valley below. The trail turns into dirt and continues for another quarter mile until you reach Water Rock Knob. After traversing a few other trails, visitors will come upon the wreckage of a Cessna 414A, which crashed in 1983. The crash was due to pilot error, poor weather conditions, and other fatal mistakes that claimed both lives on board. Due to the rugged terrain of the region, only the engine was salvageable, and the rest of the aircraft was left on the mountainside. So you can go see it.
That'd be pretty
And
cool.
that's all I have. Yeah.
Every time I think of a plane crash now, I think of I'm watching Yellow Jackets right now,
Oh yeah, I love
and I
that
think
show.
of that. Oof, what season are you on?
Oh, I already finished it a long time ago.
There's like 3 seasons, right? 2 or 3?
Yeah, I watched it like last year.
I thought a new season came out.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe it was recent. It was probably like 8 months ago. I watched it like a long time ago. I finished it.
Oh, I'm on season 2, so don't tell me anything. Super
I
creepy
won't.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like a really cool
crazy.
park.
Yeah.
It's not hard for, it's not like, it doesn't seem like it'd be a long trip for me if we ended up doing this one.
Yeah, most people go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, because that's like a very famous, iconic part of, like it's not in the park, but it's like you're going through the Smokies and then, you're
what the two of
passing all
us
these trees
need
and stuff, and then out pops like a city. Yeah, that's Gatlinburg.
What you and I need is to have a bunch of money and a bunch of time and just like cover all the parks, which #goals.
Yeah, I would like to do that, but it would require a road trip.
And it requires a lot of time, which I feel like we just like don't have.
I can always make time. That's just like my motto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a job will ever hold me back from making time for what I want to do.
Oh,
because like I have multiple jobs right now, but I know when my limit is to like stop doing that and just go have fun.
Yeah.
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 I would like to do that. That's why I want to get Jeremy in a good place too, so that we can both just go do that and take time off, like a bunch of time.
But you have to bring the
like when
dogs
he was
too.
hurt, it would have been perfect. Well, yeah, but we have the camper. So they could travel around with us.
Yeah. Well, start playing that lottery.
Oh, I have been.
I mean, $2 a week.
I feel like that
deal.
lottery. No, I haven't.
Oh yeah, I play like the state lottery. I just play $2 or $4 a week or something. And
I'm a big scratcher person because I never win on the Powerball.
Yeah,
not even like $8.
I
don't even win my
no
money
one really
back
does.
most times.
But it only win. You only need one ticket to win. So like people will go and buy like 100 tickets. I buy one because I'm like, all right, if I'm meant to win, I'm gonna win. So that one ticket.
I did not know this, but you can go into the lottery place and buy a whole roll of scratchers. It's like $1,800, but well, for the $50 one. So like, because I went in and I cashed in like, $1,000 lottery ticket that we won on a scratcher, and I was like, or no, it was probably like 800 total, and then it has to be less than 600 so that they don't give you a check, so you don't have to report it on taxes. So I brought it in and I was like, okay, well, give me like, 4 of these that would equal like $200 so that I could just get my 600 and leave. And she rings it in and the total comes to like 1,700. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh, I thought you said a whole roll.
Oh my God.
I'm like, no. I'm like, but you can do that? I didn't know. So I think that is honestly the better option. If you like, instead
Mhm.
of like playing 50 here, 50 there, like
Mhm.
save up money in a fund and then just go buy a whole roll. Because I guarantee
Yeah.
out of that roll, there's going to be
You'll
a
win
big,
at least win your money back.
yeah, there's going to be a big boy in there somewhere.
Is that what
You
you call
know?
him? A big boy.
Yeah, a big boy or girl. I don't call them that. It's just the first thing that
I know,
popped in
it's
my
just
head.
I know. I was just kidding. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, good park. Liked it. I wanna I'm pretty interested to start looking into it. I've been like really busy. But it
Yeah,
sounds like
me
there's gonna be
too.
like a lot of stuff. Can you send me the two things that hotel and then the underwater city? Well, I'll find the underwater city, I'm sure. Okay. So see you guys next week.
See you next
Okay.
week.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.